Welcome to BC, sir.
Anybody here I know?
Yes, sir.
Preview, just missed the preview by 5 minutes.
Are you here to sell
yeah,
the Asian Pacific Foundation, sir? Is that what you're going to sell the businessmen tonight? We've been given a...
Sir now?
Oh,
in
yes.
British Columbia?
That's right.
Oh, it's a great idea. Yeah, the national press is here. It came out for the papers.
Any federal dollars for it?
We're going to study it.
At the risk of being rude, sir, are you planning to visit
I knew
Penticton?
it would happen. Penticton. I love the people of Penticton. Don't ask me about the next neighborhood, though.
About Revelstoke.
The next neighbourhood, in fact, was not Revelstoke, but the town of BC, which the Prime Minister quaintly calls Salmon Arms. However, he's in Vancouver right now, and he's in town to distribute some federal payola, which arose out of considerable confusion and argue-bargue between the City of Vancouver, the provincial government, and the federal government. The federal government finally stepped in, and there he is, putting his rose in his lapel. And this morning he's going to unveil the $135 million project on Pier BC, which is going to be, remember it used to be Gracie's Slipper. Now it's going to be the Canada Place Federal Government Expo Pavilion for 86 and facilities for 5 cruise ships at long belated last if it goes ahead without any more nonsense. The ceremony is actually complete in downtown Vancouver on the desolate old waterfront of Pier BC. Reporter Steve Wyatt was there this morning as Pierre Trudeau did whatever he had to do to tell us all about Pier BC.
That's right, Jack, and here's the ceremony. Jack Austin and the Prime Minister were there to officially unveil the new concept for Pier BC. As you can tell, it's made up a series of billowing sails, as they call them, on the front. It almost looks like a big ship itself. It will house the Trading Convention Center, which will open in 1987. First cruise ship facility, and then it will be the Federal Pavilion at Expo 86.
That's better. That gives us a better idea of it. Looks like a ship with a funnel and billowing sails in the front, and this is on the old Pier BC wharf.
That's right. That's a hotel in the background there.
Hotel in the back, oh yes. That's the cruise facilities in the front with the billowing sails. Places for 5 ships. With a hotel, and I see a promenade behind it that will lead up to Project 200, over the railway tracks, over the airspace of the railway tracks in the waterfront. It's not unlike the original concept of the Grace McCarthy.
It's really not that much different, Jack, no, but it is spectacular. You can see how it's going.
Where was that ceremony, quickly?
At the Hotel Vancouver.
Hotel Vancouver, I thought it was no waterfront.
And all this sort of inspired the Prime Minister to provide a little bit of philosophical inspiration on the nature of the West Coast.
Words which go back to something that struck me last April when I was on the Pier BC with both of you, and when we were putting up a plaque, I remember, indicating where the thing was going to take place, and it was a beautiful day with the snow-capped mountains in the rear and the sea out in front, and a beautiful city. I always find it exciting to be at a place where the land ends and the ocean begins. And particularly when that place is where the rails come to meet the sea. In a sense, you feel that the country was finished here. It happened. It was pulled together at this particular place. And when that stage of our development took place a century ago with the rail meeting the sea, at that time it was, I understand, to bring the silk and the tea from the Orient to be transloaded, brought by rail across the country, then shipped to the Atlantic, across the Atlantic to Europe. And that was an important stage in our development. But now with this project, it's symbolically measuring the beginning of another stage when we will have reached the high technology, the sophistication which permits Canada to become whole in another way. Not only it is whole in itself, but it is beginning to reach out beyond